Hey, welcome back everybody. Today I'm going to do something that I have said many times that I would never attempt to do, but there's so much talk about it, I'm going to give it a shot. That is, I am going to remove the secondary butterfly in the throttle body of this 2021 KLX300 Dual Sport. This is something that shouldn't be that big of a deal, but a lot of people talk about it. A lot of people are interested in how much power that you get when you remove this. Let's just say people have a lot of different opinions on this. Some say that it makes a big difference, that the bike, the way it is stock, doesn't really do anything power-wise concerning this secondary throttle until about 7,000 RPMs. And then the computer in the bike opens up the throttle and you feel the bike pick up. The claims are that if you remove this secondary throttle plate, you will feel much more power in the RPM band that most people ride in. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 on up to 7,000 RPM. The claim is that the computer either has this throttle plate closed or partially closed, restricting airflow into the throttle body. And if you remove it, then you're going to get an increase in power. We're going to see. I'm going to make an attempt to remove this thing. Now, this is something that you should do by taking the throttle body out. I'm going to try and cut corners. On the bike, if you are able to see right now, we are looking at this area in here, where the rear master cylinder is, the brake master cylinder. Right behind that is the boots for the throttle body, right there. Hopefully that's showing up on camera. It's pretty dark in that area of the bike, but that boot I'm going to take out. That should hopefully open up where the throttle plate lives. There are two throttle plates in there. One is back towards the airbox, and then the one that's controlled by your throttle is towards the front of the bike. I'm going to be removing the secondary one on the rear. Many people claim that the problem with doing this is the screw that holds it in. It's peened over on the back side of it. So it's not something that's very easy to remove, but we're going to see. I'm going to try. I'm going to give this a shot by taking out the connecting tube from the airbox to the throttle body. See if that gives me enough room to get in there with a screwdriver. It's just a Phillips head screwdriver or screw head. Remove it, and we're just going to see. I'm going to remove the master cylinder for the rear brake, and maybe that'll be it for now. Let's see. That should be, I hope, a 10 millimeter because I didn't bring an 8. It's an 8. All right. First thing to do, we're going to remove the master cylinder. I'm sorry, the reservoir, the brake cylinder reservoir. That should be an 8 millimeter. Oh, good. First time. Okay, that's out of the way. I'm also going to remove this bracket here. I think that has a purpose besides covering up the brake hose. Hello. A 5 millimeter? Perfect. 5 millimeter Allen wrench, hex head, whichever terminology you like to use. I think that is all that does, is guards the brake hose, which makes sense. I wish they would have done something up front for the coolant lines, but they didn't. Okay, now that we got that moved, we can get the brake master cylinder reservoir out of the way. Okay, what we're going to be doing is taking this boot out. There's a little bracket here that is now just dangling loose. I would not lose that. It looks like it's responsible for holding the wiring harness down and out of the way. So this boot, there's a clamp on the back, a Phillips head, and one on the front from the opposite side. Now, let me get one at a time. Let me give you a tip. Whenever you're working on Japanese motorcycles, any of the Phillips heads, they're not regular Phillips heads. They are what's called JIS. Now you can pick up a set of JIS screwdrivers, just like this one. I got this off Amazon. It looks like a regular Phillips head, except it's not. There we go. That's a Japanese industrial standard, I believe is what that stands for, JIS. Just got a little bit of a different cut to it. And it fits into Japanese screw heads a lot better. Let's just give that a little loosen. I don't think you gotta remove it, just loosen it up. Mine now spins around. All right, maybe that'll be a little bit better. So what I did, remove the master cylinder and loosened up this clamp. We're gonna be eventually pulling this boot out of the bike. So now I got both of those clamps loose. Let's try to push this boot off. It's not boding well. I don't think that this plate's gonna be easy to get out. All right, the airbox side is done. Throttle side is done. There's your boot. Just got the two clamps on it on either end. Loosen those up and pull it off. All right, I am gonna have to bring you down here so you can take a look at this situation. Right in there is the throttle plate that we're talking about. It's got one Phillips head screw in it. And I am gonna make an effort as best I can to get that out and remove that plate. That's the only thing we're talking about. So I'm gonna put you back on the tripod and just make an effort. You're not gonna be able to see much. You can see that there's just one Phillips head screw in it. So we'll see. Wish me luck. I'm gonna put you back on the tripod and give this a crack. I am skeptical. I think if the throttle body was out, it'd be an easy thing to get out with the right screwdrivers. Maybe there'll be something in this little kit here that's got all kinds of stuff in it that'll work. I doubt it. I see this job going sideways, probably in a hurry. You guys just ain't gonna see nothing. Okay, I gotta be honest with you. It was not easy. It was not fun. It was a pain in the hooski. But as you can see right there, it's gone. I went through a series of tools to get one little bolt head off. But right here is the throttle plate, secondary throttle plate. It's made of aluminum. Fortunately, the bolt head, the screw, the bolt, the screw that holds it in, yeah, it's a screw. The screw that holds it in is ferrous metal. So what I did to protect the fuel system as much as possible is every time I would go in there, and I found that, well, let me back up. I found that an easy out, this little doohickey, I found that that was pretty good for chewing into the head. Like every other easy out in the world that I've ever tried to use, it would not bite, so it would not remove the screw. But it did do a good job, this end in particular, chewing up the head. So what I did was, every time I would go in there with it and chew the head up a little bit, I would take my magnet, my mechanics magnet, and I would reach in there and I would get all the metal shavings out. I probably did that 100 times. And every time it would come out, it would have a bunch of metal shavings on the end of it. But eventually, I got it down enough to where I could break it off. Now, obviously, I can no longer turn this to show you anything to do with it. Right where the head of that magnet is, you can see the end of the screw. It's the shiny part sticking out there. Right there. That shaft is still screwed into there. But the plate is out. Now, there it is. The secondary throttle plate is removed. You can do it on the bike without taking anything out. It's not easy. It's not fun. You just got to get that head of the screw to snap off, and then you can just pull it out. So that's it. I'll let you know if I find any difference. I'm not expecting a big difference, but we'll see, I hope. We'll see. All right, thanks for watching. Sorry this wasn't a better video, but that's all I could do. I'm out.